Oh, that's it! Man, Beneil Dariush does it again!
I wasn't always like this, but sometimes it happens. I just forget everything and I just do stuff.
Beneil Dariush!
Welcome to UFC Unfiltered. Please tell me that's on video. I've never been happier. I'm made for a fucking podcast. We're dangerous. Listen to me, we're at it. Welcome to UFC Unfiltered. It's myself. Jimmy Bird is out, spreading his little wings, spreading his laughter to the masses with his stand-up comedy. I still don't know where the fuck he is. But we got the great Brett Okamoto with me as co-host. Brett, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. I've been on the show a few times, but never as a host. So I don't know if that'll be any different or if it'd be the same.
I'm telling you right now, you don't know what the fuck you're in for right now. We're going to have such a good time. It's all about chemistry, Brett. When I look the other day, we had Dean Thomas on. Me and Dean Thomas, I see as just a couple. We could be in like a buddy cop movie with all banter. Then you got Phoenix on. We geek out sometimes about nerd shit. Jamie English used to train with me. He's got that old English vibe, a proper vibe. Me and you, Brett, we're such, oh my goodness. You couldn't be more different. Look at it. Even today, look at us, the contrast with all the shirts. Yes. All right? With all fucking heads. Look at you with your beautiful hair.
You're going with like a villain in a layer type look.
I don't know. This is one of those things. I look at us like if they did like a reboot of you ever hear that old show called The Odd Couple?
Yeah.
Imagine me and you in a show like rooming together.
I think it'd be hilarious.
I'd be a fucking mess. I could see, dude, you're at home, be honest. Mm-hmm. I get not just what's behind you, because I know that's your work area. Mm-hmm. You're a messy guy. How's your sink?
When I was a kid, I was super messy. Now I'm pretty OCD, man. I mean, I could show you my office. Like it's pretty spotless, dude. Like so much to the point where like I start to line up my pens so that like, you know, they're in like, you know, very, very neat. It's what I work best in, you know? So I don't know if my wife would agree with me, but yeah, I feel like I'm pretty good.
Do you and your wife, do you have like double sinks? Do you have your sink and she has her sink?
Yeah.
Now, when it comes time to clean the bathroom, remember how many days, whatever it is, how are your sinks looking? Is yours almost as pristine as hers? Yeah. Or does she look at it? Is, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Except you know what, I shave, you know, and then like it's the hair that's a problem on my side of the sink, you know, little shavings, and you know, my eyebrows get out of whack sometimes. I got to trim them up a little bit, and so I got the hair around the sink. That's about it, though.
I would say it's the hair for me, because I have to shave my head too, so it's almost like extra. Mm-hmm. But it's also the fucking toothpaste.
No, dude.
Soap scum.
No.
Brett, my wife, oh my God, she's a saint. Thank God for her. I'm a fucking.
Do you have your own toothpaste bottle, or do you and your wife share one?
We have the same one.
You have the same one. Do you guys push from the bottom?
Yes, I usually do. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. My wife, as clean as she is, pushes from the middle. And so there's all this crust and nasty stuff around the top of I hate that, man. And it is so easy to avoid. It is so easy to just push from the bottom. When you say the toothpaste thing, no, the toothpaste is actually a problem on her side, man. She's got toothpaste all over her freaking counter, not me.
You know what I noticed that is very uninteresting, but I'll just say it anyway since we're talking about
yeah, please. Sure.
No, everybody already tuned out. They're voting this. No.
That's what you want to hear on a podcast. You know what is super boring, but I'm going to go into it at length.
You don't need that much toothpaste. I always put too much on, so I start brushing, half of it falls out my fucking mouth. Anyway, listen, welcome to UFC. We just to play it safe, pretend like we just started now. Brett, we got fights this weekend. How come you're not in Singapore? You don't like that long flight?
No. I would actually be there, but me and my wife just got back 2 days ago from a 13-day trip to Portugal. It's like one of our first vacations together in years. Because we had the kid, like COVID and everything, obviously, you know. So we did like 2 weeks in Portugal, just me and her, kind of bumming around the entire country. So I would have gone, but I just got back, and I literally would have had to come out of the plane and get on a plane and fly to Singapore. So
How was Portugal, man? And did you do like sightseeing there, or was it just?
I did a lot. So I did, it was kind of like 5 vacations mixed in one. I did like an island where we did hikes around a lake.
Okay.
And then I did wine tasting. And then Lisbon is kind of like New York of Portugal. Like it's a bigger city, a lot of different stuff to look at. And then we kind of drove off and saw some medieval castles kind of closer to Spain. And then if you go to the South Coast, it's kind of like their version of Mexico for us. And that's where all of like the beach resorts are. So then we just chilled and hung out for a little bit.
The wine tasting.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. They got that here in Long Island.
Yeah.
I want to taste wine. I go to Ciro's garage. He's got the homemade shit right there. I'll taste some
Ciro's.
wine. Oh, that's my father-in-law. Oh yeah. He
Ciro's garage is where you go for the wine tasting.
All I do is when I drink his grappa to digest. I drink his homemade wine, him or Uncle Tony's, because I know what I'm getting. It's 100% pure. Like there's no preservatives, whatever. I see the way they make it, and I never get nauseous. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, I went to, speaking of nauseous, I was just in Vegas. There was a little like show they were doing. It was something with the Ultimate Fighters that won the Ultimate Fighter, coached the Ultimate Fighter, and won the title. So it was me, Bisping, and Forrest, Juliana, and Rashad. Speaking of red wine, holy shit, man. I don't know if you know this, but Michael Bisping could put him down a little bit. Did you ever know that about? Have you ever heard a rumor about that?
I might have known that. Yeah.
I'll tell you, Brett. I'm used to Ciro stuff. So not only did I get lit during this whole shoot, with me and Michael were the only ones drinking, but unfortunately for my wife and I made it to the toilet with some of the vomit. But also she's like, in the shower. I go, well, look, at least it's in the shower. Yeah. When you're gonna have to, when you lose your shit, when you're vomiting, isn't it better to do that in the shower?
I mean, I would say the toilet's the best place to do it, but
it is the best place. It is, but the second best place.
It's better than the carpet. It's better than my car. I mean, I've had my wife throw up in my car like 3 different times. One of them was the first day I bought it, dude. And I know that she's a puker. And I went and picked her up on the strip and I was driving her back. And I was like, I can tell you're going to throw up. I'll pull over right here. You can throw up in the parking lot, you know? So not only did she not do that, Matt, where she decided to puke, I rolled the window down for her then. And she threw up into like the window cavity. You know how like the window, if the window's down, that like some of the puke could actually go into the physical door itself.
That's how you know when you're truly in love with somebody and you really feel for them beyond just how pretty they are or anything. Like picture it like this: whenever you're dating somebody, and you're not really into them, the smallest thing they do or did, or it could turn you totally off. But then when you're totally in love with somebody, my wife, I would clean up her vomit. I'd hold her hair if I had to. Yeah. She doesn't do that. I mean, but if she did, not that not anybody could, but if they did, I don't know.
Yeah. In my wife's defense, this was like 10 years ago and we were living in Vegas. She was like 25, 24. So she gets a pass on that.
I bet my wife wouldn't do that like every week. She's not like a lush. But I'm trying to say is that when you love for somebody, you do some things,
You know what? One other thing I'll say about this conversation is that you mentioned that maybe on occasion, Bisping has been known to have an alcoholic beverage. I will tell you right now, and I won't go into the story, and I don't think Mike would have a problem with me sharing this. And like you said, no one's watching the show anyway. The only time I have missed a flight in my life was Michael Bisping's fault. And now to this day, when I'm at a bar and if I'm in the mood to do it, I'll call it the Bisping. And what the Bisping is you order a shot and a beer. And that's like one round, right? So you take the shot, you drink the beer. And then you continue to have Bispings as the night goes on. And that the night that he taught me that is the night that I resulted in me missing my flight the next day.
That explains a lot. A Bisping. Oh, that's going to catch on for sure.
That's what I call it now. I call it a Bisping. When I decide like I want a shot, I usually get like a shot of Jameson.
Oh,
a beer.
100%. That might be just totally normal wherever he's from. Fucking.
It was his thing. He's like, yeah, man, this is what I do. And I was like, all right, I'll do it with you. And neither of us made our flight the next morning, actually.
Hey, man, I'll tell you right now, that guy, what an inspiration he is. And you know, I've been talking to him recently because I don't know if I told you this or if you're aware, but I'm getting I have to get both my knees done, but I'm getting a knee replacement on the 28th of this month, bro.
Oh man.
I know I've been really like, it's something I've been putting off for a while, but because I can still do jujitsu, you know, and I can fake it when I walk like to the octagon for the corner somebody or here and there. But I'll tell you, Brett, I've been a mess lately with my knees. All I can do is jujitsu. That's all I can fucking do. I can't. Running's out of the question. Walking, not far distances. A far distance, I know what I don't like. I don't like looking feeble because I know I'm not. I'll rip a fucking arm off, so I still feel good rolling. But walking, when your knees are that bad, like mine are, like totally bone on bone, you look like a fucking, like an old man. Bisping was walking like this. I remember being with him in Abu Dhabi when he was still allowed there. And I'm only kidding. Speaking of drinking, but I was with him in Abu Dhabi, and he was walking horrible. And that's when he had one knee done and the other one had to get done. Now I look on his fucking Instagram. He's like, "Oh, I'm in Singapore. I just went for a run. I'm watching."
He's running again, man. Yeah, he really is all the time.
He's doing everything. So that really motivated me. Like it really like it gives me a lot of hope to be able to do what I want to do.
So you got to do both of them?
I got to do both. I know.
You'll do them back to back, right?
I'm doing. I mean, they say like between like around 3 months between them. You know.
So you start rehabbing the first one, and then
100%. I like that better. I don't want to be totally, you know, not able to do anything.
Well, that's good, man. Yeah, it sucks. I'm sure it's going to suck, but I bet you'll be glad when it's over. I bet you'll be glad you did it when it's over.
So listen, we got, I'll be Kimura Savage turning into Kimura Cyborg, but as long as I'm able to fucking roll, that's my thing. Oh, look at this. Is this a good sign or not? Look who's calling me. Do you see that? What does that say?
Yes.
Yeah. I normally don't do this. It's very unprofessional. Hey, Longo, I'm talking to Brett Okamoto. Do you want to say hi really quick? Hey, Brett.
Hey.
All right. This is very unprofessional. He's not used to this. I'm actually on the podcast. I'll call you later. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, the whole audience wants to know about that, but I'm going to be down there tonight from 5:30 on. Okay, thank you, Ray Longo. Talk to you later, buddy. No, he'll keep talking.
All right, Longo doesn't care. You're like, yeah, I'm actually on the podcast right now. It's a live show, and he'll be like, oh, great, and he just kept talking. He just kept telling you what
I go, I'm on the podcast. He goes, oh yeah, listen, I'm sending a guy down to your school tonight. He's bringing a kid. I go, hey, dude, did I? It's great.
Could have texted me that, Ray.
Definitely have texted it. So, hey, man, listen, this weekend, let me look at the card. Let's look at the card, Brett. Now, where has Joanna Jedrzejczyk been? Where has she been? Huh? You talked to her recently?
Yeah, I have talked to her. She's been enjoying life, man. I think she reached that point in her career where, like, so let me bring up her record so I don't misspeak.
You like that I start right in the middle of the card. I just,
wherever you want to go, man. Well, you know what though, in your defense, the reason why you started there is I think Joanna is pretty much the most interesting person on the card because of what you just said. Where's she been? I mean, where was she? And like, she comes back, how is she going to look 2 years later, in a tough fight? I mean, motivation at the end of someone's career when they've been off 2 years. And she lost her last 4 title fights, right? I mean, Rose, Valentina, Weili. So it's like,
there's some that were razor thin though. They really.
Oh, certainly. They were all close, but
it's always a strange thing when you're like, yeah, but she lost the last 4. It's like, but did she? I mean, her fight, I think was it her second fight with Rose, which was really close?
Very close, yeah. And Weili was split. So a lot of people thought that she beat Weili.
I think, it's a very close fight. I think after that fight, it's not just because of how her head looked, like ballooned up.
Yeah.
That doesn't, that's part of it, but it might not be a bad thing for her to take a break after something like that. Don't you think?
I totally agree, but I also think it's a fair question to say, okay, you took 2 years off, you're making money outside of the cage. Like, what are you going to look like when you come back? I'll say one thing that, well, I'll say two things actually. I talked to Mike Brown, like had a really good conversation with him about it. And he said his biggest concern was how big is she going to be when she comes back? You know, that are we going to have to lose all of this weight before we can really even get into camp? And he said that he was like blown away by how good of shape she was in. Now, she wasn't like sparring, like there's a difference, you know, in like the mindset of keep being in good shape and then also being in a fight camp. But I guess she showed up like really lean, good. And, you know, it's a tough weight cut for her. So that was pretty key that she already came into camp in shape. And then, dude, Rose losing the title was just a huge mental lift for her, because if Rose keeps that title, man, I don't think that they're going to have Joanna face Rose again in the next fight. I just don't think they will. And so like when she sees, hey, there's a new champion, it's Carla Esparza. If I beat Weili Zhang, I'm going to get a #1 contender fight. Like it was just this big mental lift in the middle of camp.
That's very interesting. That matchup between Joanna versus the champ, Carla Esparza. That'd be very interesting because, you know, Joanna's hard to keep down. She's really hard to keep down, and she's got those elbows that can cut you from anywhere. I mean, you know, you've seen her fight, you know, girls that are really good at grappling, and just either her takedown defense is great, and her getting back to her feet is phenomenal. So it's like, I mean, she might look at that like, look, I get past this, that title shot's right. You know, it's within Rem's grasp. That totally makes sense.
Dana said that's the title fight. Yeah, and she's already, dude, she whooped Carla Esparza. She beat her for the championship. They fought and she
Oh
beat her,
shit! What am I thinking?
whooped her, dude. Really, really beat her up. So I think she, like, that's what I say, a mental lift. She's like, if I just got to beat Weili Zhang, and I am very confident I can take out the champion because I've done it in less than 9 minutes the first time.
Let me ask you, Brett, because you're a guy that does his homework. You know, Valentina Shevchenko has just been looking unstoppable. I mean, she's such a complete fighter. It's not, and there's never one of those things you're like, well, do you think she's going to lose her hunger or her focus? You know, she's just as disciplined as they come. When her favorite hobby is going to the fucking range and like, you know what I mean? She's just such a badass that this is just the way she lives. Who, for her opponent, for everybody listening, they might not be familiar with Santos. They might not know who Taila is. Well, what can you tell us about her?
The biggest thing I would say, at least me speaking personally, that makes this interesting. And let's be frank, Matt. I mean, Valentina has created the situation where we're looking for ways in which, like, is this fight going to be interesting? You know, because she has been so dominant. And it's before what you said. This is all she likes to do, dude. Like you can, like, when certain champions have won a lot, certain guys are like, well, they're going to have an off night at some point just because their mind's going to wander. They're going to slack off in the gym. You know, you could say that about almost every champion, or at least I would say the majority of champions, where at some point, man, you're going to get them on an off night. But Valentina just does not have off nights because she lives this, she breathes it more so than probably any fighter I've ever covered. Taila Santos can finish girls, though. You know, like you pull up her record and you look at one point. And yes, this was earlier in her career, but you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 first round finishes in a row from Taila Santos. And she's coming off of a first round finish against Joanne Wood. She's got power. She's long. Asking any of these ladies to beat Valentina Shevchenko for 3 out of 5 rounds and take a decision, I just don't see it happening, man. So you got to have someone who is capable of a finish. And, you know, no disrespect to any of the women that Valentina has faced recently, but I think Taila Santos is a better finisher than Lauren Murphy. You know, probably not Jessica Andrade, but maybe in sort of the same vein. I think she's a better finisher than Jennifer Maia, Caitlin Chukagian, Liz Carmouche, like Jessica Ai. Those are all girls who tend to go the distance, right? Like at least Taila Santos can bring an element of danger, and I think you kind of need that if you're going to beat somebody like Valentina.
She knows how to win, obviously. I want to see how hard she comes out in that first round, knowing she has 5 rounds to go.
Yeah, which she doesn't have a whole lot of experience in. But yeah, first round is going to be interesting in that fight for sure.
Speaking of finishes and putting people away, Jiri Prochazka, I mean, he knows how. I mean, he has a ridiculous amount of knockouts. Yeah, 25 out of Yuri's 28 pro wins have come by knockout.
Yeah, that's wild.
My question is, who has he fought that has the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling, the grappling like Glover? Let's look at his UFC fights.
He's only had 2 UFC fights.
Is he only had 2? No. It was Volkan, right?
Volkan Oezdemir, who does not wrestle.
And Dominic. So that's the only 2 fights he had?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought I seen him more than that. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there goes the question right there. I mean, and neither one of those guys are looking to grapple him. You know, I mean, Glover, what he has is a solid skill set of solid boxing and heavy hands, and he uses it to set up basic but powerful wrestling. I mean, for him to lift up the legendary Polish power,
Blachowicz.
Blachowicz, with that single leg, it looks like, is he going to run the pipe? All of a sudden he lifts, all of a sudden he does like I'm like, what is he, Quentin Jackson? He's lifting him up over his head. He commits. He knows how to use his tools, and he's dealt with very, very powerful strikers before. He's dealt with it all. But this dude does come at you from I mean, the shots that you don't expect. Like when you looked at Dominic getting hit,
yeah,
you see how Jiri set him up with the elbow, showing his back to say, "Come get me." I mean, it was beautiful. But yeah. But Glover, I don't think he's going to take a lot of those baits. You know what I mean? I mean, easy.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I look at the betting lines on this fight, and have you seen them?
I think is he a 2? I don't want to say, is he a 2-for-1? A 2-1?
Pro Jiri is like -1. I don't want to misspeak either, but I think it's like -160 or something. I mean, that's not like huge, but it's significant. I mean, that's Vegas saying that Jiri should win this fight. It's -200. Yeah, it is up to -200 now.
These guys go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I'm with you, dude. Like, I actually see a pretty clear path to victory for Glover, man. And just take this guy down. I mean, he took down Anthony Smith and knocked his teeth out. He took down Thiago Santos and made him quit. He just took down Jan Blachowicz and choked him out. Like, why can't he do that to Jiri Prochazka, man? But it's what you said, Jiri, and like his whole vibe goes with this, with the hair, and he's like bouncing around. He's all over the place, and then he just hits you with something that you said you don't see coming. So I either see this as like Glover actually kind of controlling and dominating the fight, or Jiri knocking him out with something crazy.
Put Cutelaba on that list. I was there live for that shit. Yeah. That he went right across the Glover and he did the fucking off with your head thing. And I was there sitting with Dana ringside. Was that in Abu Dhabi? It might have been. I forgot where that was, but I remember thinking like, man, he was trying to take off Glover's head, and it was, and he was, and I think Glover's got a good chin too, and he rolled with it enough to weathered a storm, and then got on top, and he has some beautiful, old school, basic, I'm gonna pass your guard, and I'm gonna mount you and just fuck you up jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? And that's what he did. He mounted him and just took him out. I'm really, really excited about it. The fact that Jiri has not faced a grappler, I mean, in the UFC, is a big thing for me. It's uncharted waters, man. We don't know how he's going to be in there. I feel Glover's going to take it. I do. I'm not asking for your prediction, but
I'm picking Glover too. I'm picking Glover. You said earlier you were watching that fight with Dana. Who are some of the best guys to watch fights with? Like, who are like, if you were chilling and watching a UFC pay-per-view, whether it was there in person or like on your couch, who are your favorite guys, the best guys to watch fights with?
Me?
Yeah.
Man, I'm kind of a hermit. I watch with my brother-in-law Edwin. He's a fighter, and we're kind of just chill. My father-in-law Ciro. I'm kind of chill. I went over to Longo's recently for a watch party, and his dog, Lucky, no etiquette. Brett, Longo is no discipline for it. There's no bad dog. There's bad owners. And Lucky might be cute, but when I'm eating my fucking pizza and I got that dog breath, he's on my fucking, it's like, hey, Longo, Lucky, get away, get out of there. Really, Longo. Dude, I'm covered in hair. Anyway, I keep it simple, man. Just a couple of my buddies. I'm usually with my brother-in-law, and we just have fun. I go nuts. Whenever there's like this Saturday, like whenever there's this one's gonna be a little different because I have a dance recital, but I'll still make it home in time. You know, I get so excited when there's a UFC on because I'm at my school in the morning and I get to get a workout in. I teach. I'm sweating, and then I get time for like a little nap in the afternoon. I take naps, and then I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for my fights, and you know, and then my kids know I'm always screaming. My neighbors probably think I'm fucking nuts, but I love it. It's all I watch, Brett. I don't. It's my Monday Night Football. I don't watch anything. You know what I mean?
You always been a nap guy, or has this come on later in life?
I've always been a nap guy. I've always been a fucking. I have been. Yeah, I always have been. You know, it recharges me. You know, and especially back in the day when I used to compete, it was almost like a necessity. I'm like, yo, because I get such a hard workout. I usually do something with Longo in the morning, and then for the longest time, then I'd be taking a nap and then going into the city at night to be at Henzo's. And so, I mean, it was one of those just recoup things, you know what I mean? And now as I get older, I just don't sleep great at night, man. Yeah, I got like broken rhythm with my sleeping. I'll like sleep a little bit, get up at like 5, go to my school, you know, get my head straight, get a steam, and then teach my guys for 7 o'clock, come back, take a nap, come out here, hang out with you, whoever's doing my show with me, go back, fucking teach again at night. I'm living the dream, Brett. And you travel a lot, or you just do most of the shows in Vegas?
I travel quite a bit. Yeah. Like I said, if I hadn't been in Portugal, I would have been in Singapore.
It's gotta be. How old is your child now?
He's almost 2. He's turning 2 July 13th. So actually the day after his birthday, I'm going to stay in Vegas for his birthday. Then I'm going to fly to Long Island and cover the ABC card.
When is that card again?
So that's July 16th. So I'm going to fly out July 14th. I'll be there July 16th. Then I'll fly to London because the next week is London. Then I'll come home to Vegas for 2 days. And I'll fly to Dallas because that's where the next pay-per-view is.
So how this is going to be different for you now when you have a child, because it's when you can't bring your kid with you. Thank God you have this. Thank God the future. When I was a kid, even when you were a kid, I don't know, right? How long did you have to have FaceTime for? They didn't have this for fucking and Zoom and this and that. This is fairly new, no?
Yeah. I don't know exactly when FaceTime came out, but it didn't exist when I was in college. So it's post-college. Yeah.
Thank God, because when you're traveling, you can still see your family and everything. Because it makes it different.
My son doesn't do FaceTime at all, though. But you know, he's not even 2 yet, so give him a little.
What do you mean he doesn't do it? Like he just doesn't want to be bothered?
Yeah. Like even when me and my wife were gone for 2 weeks, I know he missed us. But my mom would come, grandma would be like, "Hey, you know, mom and dad, you want to see where they are?" And he's running around doing stuff. You know?
That's so cute, man. What are you gonna get? Are you plan on having a big family or no?
I can see us having one more.
One more.
I can see us having one more. Yeah.
I have 3. It's my youngest birthday today. 9 years old. Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Yeah. We just went out to like a breakfast place. We had some food. We're going to jiu-jitsu later. She loves her jiu-jitsu.
Nice.
So we're gonna have some, cupcakes for her there and everything after class.
That's great.
You know, it's so funny. I've never been more involved with my kids program than I am now because I have all my 3 kids in it. You know what I mean? I was always involved. Like, hey, you know how they do it. I'd have somebody else teach it. But as far as teaching it, I jump in there myself and I teach it a lot now.
You're teaching jiu-jitsu what, 6 days a week?
Yeah, I mean, what's great about my school is like I'm at my school probably 6 days a week, 5, 6. But as far as teaching, I have a couple of set days in the mornings. I do those 7 a.m. classes. And then I go back at night. Now I'm either teaching or training. So I'm always there though. So I don't like at this stage to be like, all right, I'm set for these times, except for the mornings. Cause I could, unless I change the days, I usually spread them out like a Monday and a Wednesday or Monday and a Friday. But like the night classes, whatever I feel like doing, I'm going to do the advanced tonight. I do the beginners a ton because I love the fundamentals and I love to get guys hooked on it. Because my guys blue belt higher, they're already hooked. They're with us for life. They love it. But when people are first trying it out, it's like I want to make sure their first experience is not too overwhelming. and then to get a feel for what's going on here. A lot of people are nervous, man. They watch the fights and they think that's what this is. You know, they don't really know what jiu-jitsu is. You know?
I could totally see that. I could totally see that.
You know, oh shit, man. Beneil Dariush is ready to come on. Let's get him in here, man. We haven't talked to him in a minute. See how I talk like kids now?
Like for a minute?
Yeah, for a minute.
Oh, you pull it off. You pull it off. Sounded natural.
I only pull it off until I draw attention to it. Beneil, you are so likable that when somebody attacks you, you don't even have to go back. All your teammates are like, how dare you talk about our good? Nobody does that. If somebody attacks me, I'm on my own. Maybe Dean Thomas, Ray Longo would let me go on my own, but somebody would have my back, hopefully. With you got Marvin, you got, who is it, RDA, all these guys.
Giga.
Yes. Oh, Giga, who's another nice, super nice guy. That's how nice you are. That must make you feel good, no?
Bro, it's amazing. I don't go on social media. I don't go back and forth, but I was telling all my friends, find yourself somebody who will protect you like Marvin protects me on Twitter. Man. Yeah. What a guy, man. Marvin was so fired up. He calls me and he's like, this effing guy, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, Marvin, relax, bro. It's Twitter. Like, it's just Twitter. But I mean, the weird thing is like, what the heck? Where did that come from? What did I do to that guy? Like, I don't even think I've ever mentioned his name outside of like when people ask me about him.
Well, you're winning and you're right in line to be fighting for a title. That's why he's mentioning you. You know what I mean? So in the end of the day, it's definitely a compliment in a weird way that the guy's even saying anything. But I think that he deleted it because he probably realized that, shit, man, this is the wrong guy to go for. He's too likable.
Also, I think like I'll just take his the fact that he deleted as a form of apology. But no, I was thinking about it. To be honest with you, I feel for the guy because like, man, he's been fighting the last couple of years and it hasn't been going so well. If I was in his position, man, it would be horrible because one, the thing that makes you who you are fighting, like you got to understand, that's who he is. You could see it in the way he speaks, the way he talks. That's who he is. So it's got to be hard for him to like not be doing well right now. On top of that, to break his leg and be out for so long. And then also you have to imagine he's surrounded by so many people that are new that he that showed up after he started after he got famous, like I got the same like 5, 7, 10 people that I've had before I was even in the UFC, if I was to put myself in his shoes, he's got to be feeling like crap all the time because he doesn't know what's going on, to be honest with you, but that's just life. That's it's just the choices we make, I guess.
Are you healthy now? What's going on? I know.
Yeah. So, man, I gotta say, I told him end of August, and I actually think I would be able to deliver like perfect because my ankle's just about good. I mean, I only notice it like once in a blue moon now. Like I had a really hard practice right now. I didn't notice it. Gotta say, man, I'm feeling good right now. The only thing I haven't done like really hard, I've sparred a little bit, just striking, but not super hard. So that's really all that's left. But I don't normally spar unless I have a fight because I like my brain the way it is.
Shit, man. Now, are we in limbo right now? What is happening? Are we talking about you fighting Oliveira for the title? Like, because I know there's talk about him fighting the Islam or you fighting Islam. Do you know any more than us?
No. So I messaged Ali the other day and I was like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, I don't even know. And I think what's happening is they're trying to get Charles and Islam to go because our sport is a lot of what have you done for me lately, and he was the guy who fought last, so he's more on everybody's mind. So because of that, they're trying to get Islam and Charles going. But if I had to guess, because Charles keeps asking for Connor, so he's probably he's probably not accepting the fight with Charles. With Islam, if I had to guess. And that leaves me in limbo because my option was Islam. They were saying Islam in October, and I was pretty stoked on that fight. I know it's his hometown or kind of his hometown, but I don't care. Like, I don't know how long I have in this sport, and there's this small part of me that's always looking to fight. Like this dog, there's a dog, and he's gonna die one day, and I'm not gonna be looking to fight everybody. But for now, I got that dog. So if it's got to be in Abu Dhabi, like we'll go to Abu Dhabi. If it has to be in Brazil, I'll go to Brazil. Like if it has to be in Dagestan, we'll go into Dagestan. I just gotta know where I'm going, and who I'm fighting until this dog dies in me.
Now, is there anybody else besides Oliveira or Islam that would, be able to, interest you?
Well, Dustin Poirier because he's ranked so high, and then Michael Chandler because he's got a lot of hype right now. I'm not sure if there's anybody else. I know Justin's going to be out for a while, and I rather, if I fight Justin, I'd rather do it for the title, and I'm sure it won't take him long. And those are the guys I'm thinking. I know there's going to be some fights, and people are going to, the division's going to change a little bit, and they'll probably toss me like I think I'm a number 6 now. After these couple of weeks, they'll probably toss me at like number 15 or something, the way the rankings work. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm so interested in seeing either you or Islam fight Oliveira, and it's because of your grappling. Even though you guys are both well-rounded, he's been in trouble, Oliveira, with Poirier. He was in trouble with Gaethje. He was and Chandler. Yeah, he was on his ass. What saved him is these guys don't want to follow him down. I feel that, like you know what I mean? Hey, listen, who is to blame him, though? I mean, but you guys, that's not a kryptonite for you guys. Islam, I feel 100% fighting, following him in. Yeah. And I feel you will too. I mean, shit. I mean, I don't know. We're yet to see any. I mean, that's what's really saved him. Don't get me wrong; he's looking phenomenal. But that's really the difference. Both guys are hurt, but one guy followed him up. One guy didn't.
It is 100%. It is like they all hurt him, and they were afraid to go down to the ground with him, and which allowed him to get his energy back and recover and get back in there. And the thing is, I remember I heard Henzo say this a long time ago. You punch a black belt in the face, he becomes a brown belt. You punch him again, he becomes a purple belt. And I think, I think both Justin and Dustin, they had him hurt. Like they should have followed up. They should have tossed some elbows in. I mean, I just don't get it, man.
Hey, man, well, in fairness, their skill set on the floor is not like yours. They might just be they might be so instilled in their head, beat him up on the feet, then we'll take him out on the floor. But he's not so easy to beat up on the feet. How do you think Oliveira's been looking now? I mean, obviously he's been looking phenomenal, but what's your take on him?
I think he's the most offensive 155er I have ever seen. I think if we're talking in terms of dominance, like people try to compare him to Khabib, I think he's more offensive than Khabib, and so he has a higher finish rate, but he lacks in defense. I think both in striking and grappling. When he fought, the last fight I could think of is Kevin Lee. Even Kevin Lee was able to hold him down when he took him down. He had him down for one round, and it didn't look like he was gonna. It didn't look like he was trying to get up. He was just trying to throw a couple of submissions up. They failed. He'd move on. I think offensively, he's incredible. I think defensively, there's a lot of holes in his game. And I think that's why all these guys want to keep trying. The problem is guys that try, they only look for the holes in his striking. So what he does, he masks those holes with his grappling. Okay, I'm hurt. I'm going to go take a second on the floor. And I know these guys are going to give me the second. And then he gets back up and he goes back to being offensive. If you can't recognize what he's doing, you're going to get caught up in his game. And it's so easy to get caught up in that game. And think about it. You are Dustin Poirier. A lot of people say you're the best boxer in the game. You are Justin Gaethje, the most violent man in the division. When you are hurting this guy standing and then he goes to his back in your mind, you're just getting more confident. So you're thinking, oh, we're just going to get back up and do it again. That confidence, it's a false confidence because this guy gets back up and he throws as hard as he can. The reason why Justin and Dustin are so good, because they counter and counter. But this guy falls down, gets back up, and goes crazy again, and you lose the timing. Because you lose the timing, because you're kind of not resetting, but you're kind of taking a breath in the exchanges because you dropped him. He's catching you, and I think these guys don't realize it. They just got to follow him up and just drop some elbows.
Brett, this is fucking intelligent stuff, Brett.
Yeah. No, I was letting you go because I talked to Beneil not too long ago, but listening to you guys go back and forth, like, maybe this is something that like guys like me, like analysts and you know, we need something to talk about before fights and we need something to talk about after fights. But I'm really impressed by Charles's mindset right now. It just seems like he's a guy that is owning the room, is showing up and like carrying himself as a champion. When you're like looking as a guy, as a competitor, do you weigh that in? Like, do you think that this guy is just like mentally, he says bulletproof, like, does he come across that way to you?
I think what he's getting good at is resetting. So whether he gets knocked down, whether he goes back in his corner, he's learned like, hey, like, just go back to doing what I was doing 100%. If I get hit, whatever. That's not normal. Like, that's something special. The fact that, okay, I got dropped. Let me take 30 seconds here, get back up, do exactly the same thing I was doing before. I mean, that's kind of the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, but he's finding different results. Honestly, if you look at it from the outside, not as his opponent, not as a competitor, it's incredible. You have to give him so much respect for that, because it's easy to say, hey, he just resets and goes, but to do it, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of faith, and you can recognize, you could see it in him. He's hurt. He gets back up. He goes back to his corner. His corner starts yelling at him. They start yelling at him, and he starts doing this thing with his jaw where he's like, he starts, you know, and in his head, he's like, either I die or he dies. You see that in him. And I think that's something I have a lot of respect for. I no matter how you look at it, it's awesome. And I think whoever fights him, when they see him come back for the second round, or they see him get back up from being dropped, they have to see that in his eyes, and they have to do the exact same thing. They have to say, hey, he's coming in fresh. I'm going in 100% too. There's no goofing off. There's no messing around. There's no relaxing like, oh, I'm going to get this guy. This guy is about to come at me maybe twice as hard as he did 30 seconds ago. So respect to Charles in that regard. But you know, the thing that annoys me about Charles is he's trying to fight Conor. That's
Yeah.
the thing that annoys me.
Yeah.
Oh, he sees that fucking paycheck. But it is interesting though with him when you talk about that mindset, because when he gets back up to hurt somebody, you have to be there to get hurt also. So he knows that, and after he's already been hurt, he marches right back in after he gets his wits back. So that's very brave. So it's very interesting when you see Justin Gaethje referring, because something switched in his mind. Because when Justin was going, once a coward, always a coward. He goes, I don't want to say that, but he did say it. He goes, you know, that mentality, because he quit in the past. Something changed in him where he had the same skill set back then. Maybe it's improved some, but pretty much the same. Something changed mentally. I just, you know, I wonder if he had a mental coach or what changed in his mind.
Might have just been maturation too, man. He was very, very young. He was very young when he started in the UFC. I think he was like 20 years old when he started in the UFC, you know? So it might just be experience and maturity.
Yeah. There's two things that happen when you get broken. You either build back up, or you become like rubble, you know? And he built back up. He built back up every single time, and now we're seeing the best version we've ever seen. I think that's what it is.
Beneil, I want to say at one point, like, weren't your coaches and even maybe your wife telling you like, hey, we know that you like to fight, but we're done taking fights that don't make sense? Are you still there? Or like, is there a possibility that this thing drags out and you take a fight that kind of doesn't make sense? You fight down the rankings. Are we done with it?
Man, I think so, because I don't want to be, man, I don't want to sit here for like another 6 months and not do anything. And I also don't want to be a hypocrite. My whole career, I fought guys behind me. Like I was ranked, whatever. I fought this guy. I think the first time was like James Vick. I was ranked number 10 and he wasn't even ranked. I fought him. And then I got into the rankings and I kept fighting guys out of the ranking and whatever. I don't really want to change that. And the thing is, I feel the guys that are outside of the top 5 are some of the best in the world. I think they're the next generation. And I'm really looking forward to this next generation. Guys like Arman, guys like Gamrot, what is it? Rafael Fiziev? How do you say his name?
Yeah,
Fiziev. He's really good, but like, I don't know if he's gonna get past Hoffa. I honestly don't think so. I think he's more of an old generation where he specializes in one thing. All these other guys I mentioned, they're incredible at everything. And there's guys in our division that we don't even know about yet, and you guys will know in the future. There's a lot of talent out there, and in the next couple of years, it's gonna look amazing. And I don't want to miss my chance to fight these guys. Like that's the other thing, you know. Who knows when I'll get the belt? But like, what if I get the belt and I only fought the old dogs? That'd be lame. I gotta get my hands on these new dogs, on these guys nobody's fought yet and nobody knows about. That's important to me too. So, man, Ali's gonna be so pissed right now if he hears about this. But but yeah, we'll see, man. I like Islam. I really want to fight. Charles, I really want to fight. I think they're the cream of the crop right now, and there's guys that are following them that are also incredibly good. So, I don't want to get stuck. That's the thing.
Well, look, man, hey, dude, you're doing phenomenal, and you're so young. You're only 33 years old. Do you ever give any thought on when's your last one? Like how old you're going to be at this number? I'm done, or no? You're just kind of playing it.
You know, that's something I actually prayed a lot about, and I remember having a dream. It was a weird dream, but I remember I was trying to walk into the octagon, and like this feeling that I had that just whenever I walk into that octagon, it's, man, getting inside that octagon is scary, but once they say go, it is the best 15 minutes I can have. Like that like savage, the brokenness in me gets to go free, and I get to be selfish for those 15 minutes. And in my dream, I just didn't have it. I walked into that cage and I had zero of it. And that's what I mean. There's gonna come a day where the dog in me is just gonna die. And when that dog dies, I'm gonna move on.
Well, hopefully when that dog dies, you'll have enough dog in you to still do like grappling matches or something. Because I really love your jiu-jitsu. You know.
Yeah.
You might have
to
try some demons.
I'm trying to have 10 kids, you know. So 10 kids is gonna be a little tricky to have 10 kids and do grappling matches. So we'll see.
Is that your number with kids?
Yeah, that's my number with kids. My wife is looking at me like I'm gonna kill you. But yeah.
Oh, I'm not letting my wife hear that. I have 3, and I kind of cut it at 3. And my wife was like, I said I wanted a big family. I go, well, we're a family of 5.
Yeah, I told her, listen, you give me 4 and we'll find the other 6. And I know everybody always goes to the wrong place. Like they think, oh, this guy, what a creep. I'm talking about adoption, obviously, but that's what I told her. I expect maximum 4 from you or minimum 4 from you, and then we'll find the rest. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like when I'm done fighting, it's gonna be, the focus will be. I want to be a missionary, and I just really want to focus on my kids.
Now, tell me, what did you always want a large family, or?
To be honest, at first I didn't want a family at all when I was first fighting. You know, God always has to break a man in order to make a man of God. You know, so just little by little, I was broken and rebuilt, and God built me better. So I understood that, you know, you can build whatever kingdom you want. You can have the belt, you can have money, you can have it all. But like, you start getting older, family starts looking a lot better. It starts, and I think that's something in our culture we're kind of losing. You know, people are getting to their 30s, they're getting to their 40s, and they don't have kids, and they look around and they're like, man, what did I do with my life? And I know I'm not going to have that, because I'm going to see my kids and I'm going to say, man, why didn't I have these kids earlier? I mean, I sometimes I have that, but I'm still able to have more kids, so I'm not worried about it. But like, I will never regret having more kids, but it's possible I'll regret having not enough kids. You know what I mean? And I've seen it a lot in people. They chase their career, they chase this, they chase that, and then at the end of their life, they were like, was this really worth it? So I'm not gonna have that question at the end of my life.
That's a beautiful thing. No wonder why Marvin Vittori got so upset. I get upset too. Nobody better talk. I'll tell you, I'll be up in arms too. Hey, listen. Hey, Beneil, man, thanks for hanging out with us, dude. We miss you, man. You're a breath of fresh air. I'm a mumbling.
Thanks, brother.
Ain't I, Brett? Am I mumbling all over today?
You're all good, bro. You're all good. You know.
Hey, Beneil, thank you so much, man. Thanks for hanging out.
My pleasure.
We hope to see you soon, bro.
Thank you. Me too. I hope so too. One last thing about Marvin. If he keeps hanging out with me, he might have a kid too soon. So we'll see. I keep showing him like, here, hold my daughter. Here, hold my daughter. He's like, oh, I eventually, you'll see. I'll get this guy.
Uncle Marvin.
He needs it.
He's doing a good job.
He's such an angry guy, you know, at certain times that he needs like that kind of baby to calm him down. I think
my daughter, he's actually angry when he holds my daughter, and my daughter loves it. Like he's like yelling at people and whatever, and my daughter is just laughing. So you know, maybe angry Marvin's not the worst.
It's a great guy to have your back. Hey man, Beneil, thanks so much, man.
Take
Good
care,
to see
guys.
you in the gym, Beneil. Good to see you working out.
Thanks,
man.
brother. Good to see you too. Bye.
What a nice guy.
Nice guy, and I don't know if he was always like this and we didn't pay attention, or if this is something that's kind of came around. But he's a great interview, man. Isn't he fun to talk to? Like some of these guys, like you love them, they're great guys, but you're just like the interviews are just you know, this guy's insightful. He's smart.
Wow, I like the way he was breaking down. Now I want to see that fight even more, because the one thing about not only him but also Islam is that they're both going to follow Charles down. And dude, some of my favorite fights take place on the floor as far as technically. Fights that most guys point to a fight like, oh, that's fight of the year, this one. I like fights like, I like Ben Askren versus Damian Maia. I like Damian Maia versus Jake Shields. I like extreme skill down there. Like just, ooh, things happening. I'm like, oh, omoplata reversal. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that Damian Maia versus Ben Askren that was like an old school jiu-jitsu versus wrestling.
Yeah.
And then like out of a movie, like Ben got to use some of his wrestling, a big slam and then the jiu-jitsu used by Maia with the reversals, with the leg lock reversals to the Uma. It was a grappler's dream.
You don't see fights like that as much anymore, but Damian Maia, especially like obviously like in like the prime of his career, he was so entertaining to watch. But at the end, like when he was starting to even lose some of his athleticism, but he was still finding ways to get those guys down. I mean, that was just like what you knew, like the level of what you were watching. Man, it was enjoyable.
Listen, he's a legend. He is a legend. I hope he does some grappling matches now. That I don't know if he's retired from MMA.
He said recently that he might not be, and that maybe he would like to come back to the UFC for one more fight. I don't know. I think he kind of already said he was retired. And then you start talking about like USADA pool and this and that. I'm not so sure what the deal is there, but I would watch him fight again.
Me too. I sure will. I sure would. Listen, did we talk? So we talked a little bit about the main event. We talked about the three. We talked about Joanna, Valentina. Okay. Who's that? The first two on the main card. Let's just talk about that really quick. Are you familiar with these gentlemen? Go ahead, read one. Whoever you want to start with.
Jack Della Maddalena.
Yes.
You know those guys, like everybody talks about their guys.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's like, oh, you know, of course. Like
Yes.
we got this guy in the gym, you know, he's doing this, he's doing that. But then, you know, there are certain guys where like it's like you've been in the sport long enough that you can tell when it's like, oh yeah, you know, we're just talking up our guys in the gym. And then you can tell when like people are really excited about this guy.
Yes.
Jack Della Maddalena. Now I don't know if I'm saying it right, but that's okay because you don't say any names right. So I'm safe either way. A lot of guys are excited about Jack Della. We'll just call him Jack Della. And the guy he's fighting is Ramazan Amiev, who's not an easy fight, man. I mean, you know how those guys are from Russia. They're well-rounded. He's big. Not an easy guy to look good on. So the UFC is not really doing Madalena like any easy favors here, but I've been told to really, really keep an eye on this guy. You know, he's special.
And what camp is he coming out of, Jack Della?
So he is from Australia. I don't know if he's city kickboxing. I don't think he is.
It's so funny. It's like anybody from Australia, like, is that city kickboxing? Because they have so many guys. They have like a
yeah, I don't think he is. I don't think he is. He might be with Volk's team with like Joe Lopez. Yeah, I'm blanking on his team, but he's from Perth, Australia. And I hear he's really good, man. 25. He won his UFC debut with a counter left hook knockout 3 minutes in.
First round. And even though Ramazan is coming off a loss, it was a decision loss, you know, and then before that he had a win. So, and that was a split decision loss.
And the guy's got 25 fights, you know? I mean, how often do you see like Jack is 25. It's only his second fight in the UFC, taking on a guy with 25 fights like that. Sometimes that experience is worth it a ton. So I'm looking forward to that fight just because of how much I've heard about Jack. And then Manel Kape and Rogerio Bontorin is just a great fight. Kape is like finally showing. He kind of like scuffled a little bit early in his UFC career, you know, where it wasn't getting going, and now you're seeing the results to match like the potential that this dude has. That'll be a good fight.
There's a couple of he's coming off a couple of knockouts here. Manuel, he knocked out
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, try it out.
Zhumagulov.
Zhalgas Zhumagulov. Yeah.
Zhumagulov. Oh, that was close.
Yeah.
And he took out Osborne too.
Ode Osborne. Yeah.
That's a very, hey, listen, man. Oh, and Brendan Allen as the main in the prelims.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, fighting who's that? Jacob Malkoun. Dude, listen, I'm looking forward to the fights, Brett.
Yeah, it's a solid card. I mean, it's not one of those ones like you know, some of those cards are blockbusters. Like I would not call this one a blockbuster, but this is just a solid up and down card. I really do like the main card is solid.
I can't wait to see Joanna back in action. If that fights anyone like the first one versus Weili, we're in for something special. Hopefully there's no balloon head action. I hate seeing it like that. That was hard to watch. But what a fight. And the main event, man, I mean, you don't want to label old school versus new school, but I don't think he'd be offended if you do say old school. Love Teixeira. I just can't say enough about the guy. As a human being, he's such a dude. He's a fucking as laid back as you come, dude.
Humble, nice dude.
He's at the amateur. I run into him at the amateur events.
Yeah.
And like he'll just somebody come up behind me and put me in a choke, and he's got like a cap on. He's in shorts. I'm like, yo, you're the champ is here. Anybody realize the champ is here? He's such a great guy. You know how one door shuts and another one opens? You see what I have here? This little espresso cup. That's an espresso cup. Okay. I had, when I was in Florida with my family, we were in like these little what are the docks, the Greek docks, what do they call those? The water docks? I don't know what you call them. But it's the little Greek area, and there's these little stores. And I seen this little, and I had it up until recently, and it started giving way and it started chipping off, so I couldn't drink out of it anymore. But I seen this coffee cup of an old school Star Wars with all the bounty hunters with Boba Fett and the fucking other guy with the fucking thing wrapped around. And it was so cool. And I seen it up in the thing. Oh, sir, get me that. And I would be drinking it during the podcast. But then it started like chipping off in my mouth. And I'm like, I must have been from the fucking 70s. So I retired it and I left it at my school. So then sure enough, right, this guy who's a fan of the show, he listens to Unfiltered, nice guy. His name is Guy, Italian guy. He's from New Jersey. The show got him through a hard time. He's got this an espresso machine that'll change my life. And it's he made it because he's from Naples and he wanted to taste like homemade, and he can't espresso, and he can't get it from the Nespresso machine. You know, I think he's full of shit. I don't know who the guy is. He shows up at my school the other day. He brought me this machine, Brett. The fucking thing is delicious. Mm-hmm. I took my Nespresso machine, I threw it on the floor. I got that in my living room now, in my kitchen. And then he brought these cute, just when I lost my nice antique Boba Fett. He brought these little espresso cups for me.
Wow. Really well done too. Are those self-made? Did he make those or he just found them and bought them? Yeah.
These are store-bought because he knows he's dealing with a man-child. But he listens to the show. But I'll tell you, I lost the other and I got this little cute thing. Listen, maybe we'll get this cut out of the show. I'm only okay. Brett, what do you want to promote, bro? Anything you plug? Anything you want to plug? Come on, man. Are you what any podcast you're doing? Any shows you're doing?
Yeah, well, I do a weekly gambling show on.
Hey, where can we listen to this?
That's on YouTube. We go up and down every fight on the UFC cards. Ian Parker's on there with me. He knows his stuff, man. He's been hitting a lot of bets. So we do like best bets, parlays. We do a pick on every single one.
I know Ian Parker used to train out in Long Island.
Oh yeah. He's been around the sport for a long time, man. Yeah, he actually used to sponsor some guys a long time ago.
100%.
So yeah, I do that, and then I've got some stuff coming out. Like I got a written story on Joanna and Weili. Like I talked to a lot of people that were around the fight, getting like their memories of it. So it's almost like kind of reliving the fight through all of their eyes. Like Mike Brown, Joanna, Weili, DC's in there.
And that's a podcast.
John Anik's in there. It's a written story. It'll be on ESPN.com. Yeah.
When is that coming out?
That comes out Friday. The day before the fight.
Oh shit, man. Well, listen, dude, congrats. And thanks for stepping in, bro. I really appreciate you coming on. Of
course, man. Of course. Enjoy your daughter's birthday, man. That's very cool.
We're gonna have a great time, man. We're gonna have a great time. We're doing some jiu-jitsu later, and then maybe whatever dinner that she wants. I think she wants tacos. And the fights, UFC 275 this weekend. Teixeira versus Prochazka. How did I do that with Prochazka? Did I pronounce that okay?
I think you nailed it, actually.
I did it okay. Brett Okamoto, thank you so much, brother.
Awesome, man. I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me back.
Take care, everyone.